What's up, duelists? What's up, duelists? I know you're seeing some crazy shit on the screen, but I gotta say some stuff first. I've been playing Edison format Ironmans, and I've been fucking loving it, man. I got the competitive vibe back. I've actually been kind of tryharding, low key. I entered a second Ironman yesterday. I mean, this video is going up the day after this happened. And I was third on my team, and they still had the full team, and I had to face down four very scary opponents. Thankfully, Randage was in the back, giving me a little bit of support. He was a fourth member on our team, so I'm going to go over the replays that I played in today's Ironman. First things first, if you aren't already subscribed, on the way to 4K, want to hit that before the end of April. That would be fucking insane. Imagine hitting 4K before the end of April. That would be so sick. I'd be so stoked. I might even do something pretty special for you guys if I hit 4K by the end of April. We'll see. And then also, of course, I'm going to a Edison format local Friday at People's Card Shop in Las Vegas. I believe it starts at 5-ish p.m. is when signups start. So come hang out, play some Edison format and paper. You know, chill. Let's talk about this deck. So in this Ironman structure, you're not deck locked. You can play 3 different decks if you want to, 4 different decks if you want to. In this specific Ironman, I end up playing 3 different decks. This is the first deck I end up playing. This is my Assault Mode Turbo deck. It's not perfect. There's like 1 or 2 cards I'm still like not sold on. And there's 1 or 2 cards I'm like still testing. Right now, the cards that I'm testing are, I'm testing this Marionette Might, this field spell package, and then I'm also testing in the main deck this Krebens. Krebens doesn't combo with much in this deck outside of brain control and mind control on like Caius and stuff, but that does come up. It does come up, and sometimes you just want to have a 2-star tuner for E-Telly to grab whatever to make the 8-star, the Stardust or whatnot. And then Krebens is also a 2-star. You can make Arcanite with Oracle of the Sun, which also comes up a fair bit. So like sometimes you'll have Oracle and then you'll have E-Telly or Krebons or whatever, and making Arcanite is better than making Stardust because you don't want to get like, that's basically why I'm testing it. And then in the sideboard, I'm testing Ojama Country. This is kind of my response to Absolute Zero. One of the ways this deck can lose is if your Stardust Assault Mode gets run over by battle. So your opponent can do something like Miracle, force the Stardust, Miracle again, summon Absolute Zero, and then all of a sudden they could have like 1 or 2 other waters and they can run over your Stardust Assault Mode and you get outclassed. The whole point of this deck is to summon a very early Stardust Assault Mode. You go down like 2 or 3 cards to do it, but the Stardust Assault Mode is so powerful, it can often just carry you through the game. It negates all your opponent's cards. You just stop their stuff one thing at a time. If they ever get rid of it, you get a Stardust. And then you can make like follow-up synchros like Arcanite or whatever to help push through the lethal damage and whatnot. Ojama Country is my answer to Absolute Zero. You can instant fusion out Ojama Knight, and then you can pitch something to special summon Ojama Knight, and then it flips all the attack and defense of all the monsters on the field. So, Absolute Zero, it's a lot harder for it to get to 3,000, basically. And then Zombie World is good against Monarchs and Dragons and stuff with Vanity's Fiend, because Vanity's Fiend fucks this deck. And Marionette Might is just like an extra brain control when Zombie World is up. It can also take Caius and synchro with the 1 Krebens, which we are testing in this build to make Stardust. So that's the Assault Mode list. There's a few other cards. Imperial Iron Wall, you bring this in when you know your opponent's gonna have DD Crows. DD Crow totally fucks Stardust Assault Mode. Completely fucks it. They just bait the negate, DD Crow it, and then you're usually down 2 or 3 cards at that point and can't win. So you gotta dodge DD Crow with this deck. That's a big one. And Trapdoor Shoot also comes in against the DD Crow. You got some back row removal for Oppression. Oppression just destroys this deck too. Can't do anything through an Oppression. Gotta have the the targeted outs to it. And then, of course, Puppet Plant, Electric Virus. Sangin comes in the grindier matchups where you can maybe play a slower game, get your Monk, get your Cat at a reasonable pace, and go from there. Yeah, that's the first deck I played. Second deck I played is the Dragon List. I showed it in yesterday's video, which is another Ironman, where I did have to come back for my team, put my team on their back, you know what I'm saying. Not on their back, I guess it'd be on my back. It'd be kind of weird putting my own team on their back. That sounds kind of fucked. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I already showed off this Dragon List. This is my Dragon List as of right now. It doesn't have the rivalries because, again, rivalry ruling got changed. Read more about that on edisonformat.com or on the FL Discord. Join in the description below. That's also where all these Edison Ironmans are happening, and they happen like every day, so it's pretty sick. Yeah, not much to say about the list. It's similar to Pro Storm's list from RBET2, except it's got a few different changes. And then also the last list I played is my updated fairies list. And the cool thing about this fairies list is that it's fucking amazing. You can just bring it against most decks and it just fucking wins. I might change one or two cards. I'm not super sold on like, I don't know. I'm not super sold on 2 Nox anymore. Hamster's not that much of a problem now that I have the Thunder Kings and the Grammel. I'm also not super sold on, you know, 1 or 2 other things. I do like the Crows. They've been really good, actually. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the replays. You guys know what's up. Don't forget to subscribe. You get the idea. First replay. Opponent, MMF. MMF is on a tear. They're playing against my team. They've beaten 2 people on my team, and now I gotta avenge him. One would call me an Avenger, almost. I win RPS, deserved. I've lost like the last 16 RPSs to MMF. I'm also down like 6-1 to MMF recently, so I'm on a bit of a losing streak, and winning this would just be huge for my ego. Here I look at my opening hand. I'm really close to going for a turn 1 assault mode, but, you know, I'm just off the assault mode. Activate. So I do go for the upstart. Of course, I find Airbellum, which is like the least useful card I can find. Does mean I can make an 8-star here if I really want to, but I'm just going to summon Krebins and pass. This is kind of why I don't like Krebins. It doesn't really contribute to what you're doing. It doesn't help you set up other stuff. The card that was in the place of Krebins was actually second Chaos Endmaster, which is a card we might get into later in this match. MMF is playing their signature Quick Draw Dragons deck, and they open Mind Control against me for the millionth time in a row. I fucking hate Mind Control, by the way. If you want to know my #1 hated card in Edison format, it's not Future Fusion, it's not Dust Shoot, it's not Bionic, it's this card right here. I fucking hate Mind Control. There's nothing you can do about it. They just take it, and then they like cat, and then they like do all this other shit, or they just synchro with your shit. It doesn't matter if you set your monster. There's like no playing around Mind Control. It's the most annoying card in the format. Easily the most annoying card in the format. Hate it so much. A fucking miserable card. Anyway, I lose this game. I'm gonna be honest. I lose this game. There's nothing I can do. Even if I make a Stardust Assault mode, their Drill Warrior comes back, I have to negate that, and then the Koyo attacks for game. So I decide to just concede and not show my deck after I draw for turn. Basically. Yeah. That's kind of what's up. Yep. I have some plays with the Shining Angel and the Honest and stuff, but nah. I'm just done here. Go to game 2. Game 2, I get to go first, which is great for this deck, actually. And again, I don't have the turn 1 assault mode activate, but I do have a turn 2 assault mode activate because I have the Oracle of the Sun and a 3-star tuner. I also have an electric virus, so if they start on something like a machine or a dragon, a lot of different machines and dragons, I can take it, do stuff with it. All right, Card Trooper comes down here, mills Whitestone of Legend, and they get a Search of Blue Eyes. On my turn, I make the Stardust. I assault mode activate before going to the battle phase. The reason being is I want to negate the Card Trooper draw. Yes, I could take the Card Trooper with this Electric Virus, but keep in mind, if I take the Card Trooper with the Electric Virus, I can't convert it. It's going to stay in play. It's going to get my opponent 3 more mills. It's going to be a threat on their side of the board. It may be something I'm forced to negate a card I don't want to negate because of it, like a Caius or something, so I elect to just attack over it and save my Electric Virus. I don't think the extra 1900 damage matters that much. My intention here is to negate the draw. However, they activate Trag, and so I am forced to negate Trag because Trag's going to be 3600. And yeah, tribute the Stardust, negate the Trag, you get the idea. Alright, Card Trooper gets to draw them a card. Now this is kind of scary. I do get the Stardust Assault mode back, but I could die. There's a lot of things I could randomly die to. I'm at 6100, so Debris Dragon plus Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon kills me because I know they have the Blue Eyes White Dragon in hand. I bring back Assault mode in the end phase. If it gets run over by battle, I have an extra Assault mode activate. They activate Heavy Storm. I could negate this, but I think I don't need to negate this. I need to save my negate for something that's going to kill me. Basically, Debris Dragon or like Brain Control or whatever. So yeah, they do go for Brain Control. As you can see, I negate with my Stardust Assault mode, and they need to find Red Med here, and they fucking have to card destruction in order to play this game. Otherwise, their hand was just not going to cut it against the Stardust Assault mode. Unfortunate for us because we had an Electric Virus, which could have made for the later push of our game, but we do pick up a Summoner Monk, which is very good. Very, very good here. They get 2 tokens from the Dandelion they discarded. And now they have a few options. They can hit me for a lot of damage, but not lethal, basically. Not lethal. They're forced to pitch the red eyes because they didn't... Wait, what? Wait, no, they just missed lethal. Am I missing something? Yeah, they just straight up missed lethal. The fuck? They had a debris dragon. What the fuck? I'm watching this now and MMF just threw. Okay, basically you summon debris dragon and then you get back whatever and then you banish that for red eyes and you red eyes back blue eyes and you attack and then you win the game. You just missed lethal. The fuck? The fuck are you doing? What is this? What is this play? This place is like the worst play. Didn't even make Nitro Warrior. SMH. SMH. The fuck is this? Okay, Miss Lethal. Okay. I'm just noticing this for the first time. I didn't know they actually ripped Debris Dragon with a red med, but now that I'm like looking at it, obviously that's... What the fuck? I deserved this win. I deserve this win. Yeah. Stardust Assault. Deserved win. Deserved win. Monk makes Arcanite and Airbellum. Basically, 4600 exact lethal. I don't miss lethal. I'm just gonna say that. I don't miss lethal. MMF, maybe miss lethal once or twice, but me, not gonna miss that shit. I see it immediately, pop both monsters, go to game 3. And now I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. All I need to do is get some more luck. Get some luck. You know, get an early assault mode. Maybe clutch some things out. And my opening hand, ass. I hate drawing Stardust Assault mode. It's the worst. Their opening hand, not the best, but not that bad either. They have Cards of Consonance for Whitestone, which is big. That's gonna give them a good card destruction. Yeah. They set the Dust Shoot, and then I think they activate the card destruction, or do they wait till the next turn? They don't. They wait till the next turn. Interesting. So here they actually take the Chaos Endmaster, and it is kind of a 50-50, but I feel like you should always take the Assault Beast here. Even though I can make an 8-star fusion, you have the Electric Virus to take it and convert off of it. Whereas if I'm able to find a 3-star tuner, I make Assault mode this turn, and I win the game because your hand... Well, you do have Electric Virus Crow. Okay. I see you. Maybe you do want to bait it. All right, they take the Chaos Endmaster. I still think it's better to take the Assault Beast here, but it is close. I do play more tuners, and obviously because you have Rescue Cat, Summoner Monk, and other stuff that I can upstart Goblin into, so there's more chances for me finding the Assault mode here. But yeah, I do go find Stardust Assault mode, and then I actually just upstart into pass the turn, I believe. Yeah, I pick up Honest, which thankfully I didn't draw a tuner. I think I would have maybe lost if I drew a tuner here. Interesting. Alright, MMF finds a second Crow. Thank goodness this wasn't drawn off the card destruction. Otherwise, this game would have gotten a lot harder. They elect to Foolish Burial before activating card destruction. I don't really understand that play. I probably would have just card destruction first and discarded the Foolish Burial and drawn the extra card. But they deck thin and Blue Eyes, which I kind of get. But then it's like, now all your trade-in targets are gone and your last Whitestone does nothing. I don't know. I might have not done that, but whatever. They just want to deck thin. Give themselves the best chance at an OTK. My life points are a little bit bugged, but I should have 8,000. Here they find Future Fusion, and their hand is actually pretty stacked, if I do say so myself. Thankfully for me, I've found some powerful cards. Unfortunately, MMF does make a good play to bring back the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragons in defense position. So, they elect not to normal summon any of their hand, which I understand. I get that. The Red Eyes being in play is much more threatening. It gives me one turn to find it out. And unfortunately for me, I can't really do much with this because I have all of these tuners and they just have 2 10-stars and I don't have a dragon I can bring back. So it's a little awkward. I can make a level 6 Goyo take their Red Eyes, but then they still have another one. That's awkward too. I like to just go for Rescue Cat plus Psychic Commander, Black Rose, and to blow up the board. I think this gives me the best chances, plus I'll have Trap Dust Shoot in order to take the third Red Eyes Darkness Metal if that's what they have in their hand. So I blow things up, They have no more wyverns, so the red eyes are pretty much permanently in the grave. And then I dust shoot here. And here I have to take the quick draw synchron. Yes, the Drago is a problem, but electric virus kills it 1-for-1. Psychic commander trades for it 1-for-1. The debris dragons can only make dragon synchro monsters, which electric virus can take, and I can maybe convert off of if I'm lucky. And all things considered, I'm pretty cool with this. Taking the quick draw here, it puts them in an awkward spot. Also, debris dragon doesn't have a 3-star target as of right now, so they have to spend a turn setting the dandelion, which is very good for me because I have Chaos and Master. And if you guys don't know what this card does, when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it's basically like a Flamvell Fire Dog, but it gets to summon a level 5 monster with 1600 or less attack. Usually the monster that you summon with this card is Oracle of the Sun or like Thunder Dragon in other builds, but yeah, basically Oracle of the Sun is my only target in this build. And seeing their hand and seeing their grave, I'm like, okay, they're going to have to set Dandelion before they can really do anything. The White Stone doesn't search any more Blue Eyes because all of them are gone, so they're not going to set that. They could actually make a really, really good play here and set Debris Dragon, but I don't think they know about Chaos Headmaster. Oh, they do, because they dust shooted it turn 1. So yeah, I think they could have set Debris Dragon this turn. That would have been a decent play. I think they summoned the Drago, yeah. We take 1900, first damage for us. Life points is bugged, but we're at 6100. On our turn, we draw Psychic Commander. We draw Airbellum, which sucks, obviously. We could go like Electric Virus, take their Drago, and attack directly with both for 3500, hope to discard something. But 1, we risk the chance of discarding the Dandelion and just fucking losing. And 2, we can't make a synchro with the Quagmire Drago because the only level 7 we can make that's not light or dark is Black Rose Dragon, and we've already used it this game. So yeah, basically I just need to trade the Psychic Commander for the Drago and Prage, more or less. They draw Electric Virus, which is big for them, actually very big for them, because it's going to be able to force a Stardust Assault Mode activation or steal a Stardust if we're not able to make an Assault Mode. And we draw the perfect card, which is Assault Mode Activate. Thankfully, we haven't drawn our second not piece of the combo. What is it? Second Garnet. Yeah, that's the word. Thankfully, we haven't drawn the second Garnet. Chaos Endmaster is going to happily attack over this Dandelion. Special summon out our Oracle of the Sun, run over one of the tokens, and we can make an Assault Mode Dragon and hope that that's good enough to win. I know they have 2 Debris and White Stone still, so I don't know the Electric Virus. I don't know it. I could have waited here. But I elected not to. Usually, I don't know. You can get punished for waiting, basically. Because I think if they go Special Red Eyes Priority Activate, I can't negate it. So I think I need to activate Assault Mode. Straight up. So that's what I do. I make this. And then, yeah, basically, that's what's up. They try to Electric Virus, take the Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. We negate. Can't let them have that. That would just straight up murder us. Thankfully, the Electric Virus in their hand doesn't have a target, so they can't go for, like, super lethal. They can make a Red Dragon Archfiend, which threatens our Stardust Assault Mode because they have the same attack stat. But our hand has some, it has some spice. All right. They make the Red Dragon. They attack for 3,000. They blow up their own tokens. We get back the Stardust Assault Mode in the end phase. And then on our turn, we find an Assault Beast. This doesn't come into play quite yet. I don't think it does at all. I was thinking it'd be kind of funny if, like, we were able to steal a Red Dragon with an Electric Virus and then Assault Mode into that, but we don't play that Assault Mode. Just the Stardust and the Arcanite. Here I take it with the Electric Virus. I normal summon Airbellum. This is big damage. This basically says, I know you have Debris Whitestone. I can negate the Debris with Stardust Assault Mode, and I can discard a card from your hand, potentially even hit the Debris Dragon that I'm forced to negate with this, and you have 1 turn to find it out, more or less. So I deal a majillion damage, and then I do end up hitting the second Electric Virus, which is huge. It is so important that I hit that here. And then I ask the fated question, does Red Dragon Archfiend activate in the end phase? And it does. So I'm able to negate that with my Stardust Dragon Assault Mode in the end phase, bring back my Assault Mode, and they're donezo. There's nothing they can do. They summon Debris. I negate. I say, you don't got it. You don't got it like that. Ooh, and that was match 1 of the Ironman. All right, now my team is only down 1-2. I've got to come back, and the second duelist is another very, very powerful duelist, Duelist Murray. out of retirement to play in this Ironman. I'm a little scared, I'm not going to lie. Murray's known for the Gladiator Beast, the Lightsworns, very proficient Edison player. Let's get into things. For this match, I elected to bring dragons. I know Murray loves Gladiator Beasts, so it's a little bit of pre. But, unbeknownst to me, he's on a Machina variant of the Carpath deck. And this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say it. This was probably the craziest match of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've ever played. In this format. I've played crazier matches in other formats, but in this format, this was the craziest match of Edison format I've ever played. Just wait and see it. You'll see. This is actually one of the craziest fucking things in the world. All right, opening hands. I lose RPS. Unfortunate. Murray flips a coin. And if you look at Murray's hand, he's got a lot of power. Machina Peacekeeper is actually kind of a cool addition to this deck. It can help protect your ancient gear monsters. It's a debris target. It searches gear frame. It's a great pop for Kuras. There's so much to like about Peacekeeper in this deck. I like the inclusion for Murray a lot. So Murray starts off with setting the Peacekeeper, setting the Solemn Judgment, and my opening hand is really good. Keep in mind, I don't know what he's playing yet, so like if you're seeing this in Edison format, the first thing on your mind is Raiko Lightsworn Hunter. Thankfully for me, I drew My Body as a Shield, which is kind of my deck's like counter to that type of bullshit. And I'm on a Gold Sark for, obviously, the fucking Future Fusion and set my entire fucking hand except Brain Control. That's my plan. And I'm like, if you have Raiko, I must destroy it. I must destroy it with My Body as a Shield. That's basically what I'm thinking. All right. Search Future Fusion. Set my hand. Set my Mass Dragon. Pass. The draw from Murray is Terraforming. And here I make kind of a crazy decision. So like looking at my opponent's position, they play Terraforming. And they straight up search for Mausoleum. And now I'm just like, oh shit. This is not a Raiko deck. This is a crazy deck. Whatever it is, it's going to be fucking crazy. Mausoleum, the way it works is you can't solemn the monster off of Mausoleum in Edison format. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be forced to Solemn Judgment the Mausoleum. I can't really afford for a Light and Darkness Dragon to come down. I can't really afford for... There's a few other cards I can't really afford, like Ancient Gear Beast. Kuraz would just be terrible for me. So, can't really afford that. I've just got to Solemn Judgment the Mausoleum. And this puts me in a precarious position for this game because I go down to 4,000, which means these big monster type decks can kill you out of nowhere. I got to be really careful the rest of the game about my life points. You'll see that in the coming turns, basically. So I Solemn Judgment the Mausoleum. I'm just like, nah, fuck that shit. And they pitch Gear Dragon to summon Machina Fortress. So now I'm thinking, okay, they're on Ancient Gear, basically, is what I'm thinking. Yeah. And I have the read that there's an Ancient Gear Golem in their hand, which makes me happy that I Solemn Judgmented the Mausoleum because Deep Prison, Mass Dragon, these don't do anything against a resolved Ancient Gear Golem. Flips Machina Peacekeeper, and now I'm like, okay, that's different. And I have the first difficult decision of this Ironman. The first tricky choice. Do I deprison this? Machina Fortress. Allow them to search off the Machina Peacekeeper. There you go. Allow them to search off that. Give them a gear frame, which they can still normal summon in main phase too. Or do I just let my guy die and grab a monster from my deck? I'm just going to grab a monster from my deck. I'm going to grab Totem Dragon. Totem Dragon, I could have grabbed another Mass Dragon, but I feel like grabbing Totem Dragon is the best because it gives me the most follow-up in the chance that I do top deck a Tribute Monster. My plan is to top deck a Tribute Monster and then use the Brain Control to out the Fortress to deny them the Peacekeeper search. I really, really, really don't want them to search with this Peacekeeper because them getting another gear frame is just like, I'm probably going to lose that game with the way things are shaping up. So I save the Deep Prison and I do top deck Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Thankfully, one cool thing about Totem Dragon is it can be used for 2 tributes, but it doesn't have to be. So I Brain Control the Machina Fortress. I tribute both the monsters. I normal summon Red Eyes. And here they reveal they had Solemn. So they could have Solemned my Solemn, which leads me to believe they actually don't have Ancient Gear Golem, which is something I'm considering keeping in my mind, basically. Here, they Solemn the Red Eyes, and that's that. I gotta pass the turn. Next turn I do get Future Fusion, which is obviously the truth. And they do nothing. Oh, I should show their hand. Yeah, they have Zombie World, Brain Control, and Kuraz. I'm actually super surprised they didn't play this Zombie World. Because if they do play it, then I can't... Well, I guess I could still bring back their Red Eyes. Never mind, I'm capping. Zombie World doesn't do anything here. Don't listen to me. Zombie World also prevents them from going Brain Kuraz, so... Yeah, no, that's actually a heads-up play, not playing it. I Future Fusion, I send my remaining 2 Wyvern. I did draw a Wyvern, which is annoying, but whatever. I send my remaining 2 Wyvern, and I send a Totem, and I send a Red Eyes, and I send Prime Material Dragon, which is one of the newer inclusions to this deck. This card has a lot of applications in the metagame right now, and I think it's going to be useful in securing this game for me. I need it to be able to negate like Machina Fortresses, like destruction effects and whatnot. So, end phase, I bring back both Red Eyes, and I actually bring them both back in attack. The reason I don't bring it back in defense to play around Brain Control is, A, that gives my opponent a chance to pitch an 8-star and use a Machina Fortress to attack over one of them, which I don't want to happen. And then B, it doesn't matter if they have Brain Control because I have saved my D-Prison from the first turn of the game. So, he starts things off with Brain Control on Red Eyes, and he elects to try and crash them. He could have also sacked for Kuraz. Either way, he was going to get really big punished for this, because if he Kurazes, then I have my body as a shield, and if he just attacks, I have D-Prison. So that's what happens. He goes ahead and sets the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast and activates Zombie World, and here I make a misplay. I should have activated Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. And the reason I should have activated it is because even if they have Oppression, they flip Oppression, they negate it. It's like, okay, I get 5-headed next turn. I get to hit them for 1800 this turn. Like, that's fine. Even if they have Oppression, that's fine. If they have Torrential Tribute, it's actually much better for me to special summon the Wyvern because then I don't spend a normal summon, and I can still activate the Wyvern in the end phase to bring back my Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So I make a misplay here by normal summoning. I should have special summoned this from my hand. And the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is not doing anything this turn anyway because all the monsters in my grave are Zombie type now. So I can't bring out any of them. So the only thing I could have special summoned was the Wyvern anyway. Here I decide to go for game. I just swing. They do Wind Blast the Red Eyes, which makes sense. Have to do it. And then I set Royal Oppression, pass the turn. They top deck Gear Town, and we go to game 2. Game 2, I decided to side in 2 Dust Tornadoes. I decided to side in Mind Crush, and I decided to side in a few other cards. I think I sided out like Call of the Haunted and the Gold Sarks because they're kind of fast. And at this point, I realize he's playing some type of Carpath-esque deck, which could be playing, Debris Dragons and stuff like that. So I do have the Royal Oppressions in still, whereas sometimes I might consider not having them. But I think against the Machina stuff anyway, definitely want them. Anyway. My opening hand is fucking... I don't know. You can say what you want about this opening hand, but going second, I actually think it's quite bad. I think it's quite bad. Heavy Storm against Gear Town? Shake my fucking head. If they resolve an Ancient Gear Dragon already, my hand is nothing against that. I'm just going to fucking lose. So they have a really, really good starting hand, which has Foolish for Dandy plus Debris. I was thinking they would play it a little differently, but they just start off by going for the Foolish for Dandy, Debris, etc. And you know what? Works out for them. Obviously, my deck can't afford to play DD Crow. I've got a Totem Dragon, so can't really play that card. They're just going to get their Ancient Fairy Dragon, their 4 tokens, and that's what's going to go down here. They can't further summon any monsters quite yet without tributing anything, but they can set Royal Oppression and be in a solid spot if they want to be. Okay, my top deck is Drago, which, let's be honest, isn't great. I have a sort of idea of how this game's going to go at this point. Basically, next turn, I am going to Trap Dust Shoot them. They are most likely going to Tribute Summon something off of the 2 tokens. I'm hoping Ancient Gear Dragon. Whatever. I Trap Dust Shoot them, I take one of their monsters. Their field is kind of locked up. If they Tribute Summon something, I can Bottomless Trap Hole it. And then Heavy Storm will be my last set card in play, and I can Pro Heavy them. So that's kind of my game plan for this game. Is I'm going to set all 3. I'm going to Trap Dust Shoot them in the draw phase. They're going to Tribute Summon something, which I'm going to leave them with in order to bait them into tribute summoning. I'm going to bottomless that, and then heavy will be my last back row. So yeah, that's why I said all 3 here. And in this game, I'm just going to say it, some crazy shit happens. This is the craziest game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mentioned at the beginning of the match, this is the craziest game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Randage right now, he's in the chat. He's in the voice chat, and he's watching this, and he's about to lose his mind. I'm going to tell you, I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know. Randage is about to lose his mind. So I trap Dushu here, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Kuraz is a big fucking problem. I can't let them have Kuraz. Because if they have Kuraz, they can tribute summon the token, target 2 more tokens, draw 2 cards. It's just too much advantage. It's just too much advantage. I can't let them have it. So I have to take the Kuraz. And they have 2 gear frames, which they can't summon, and a terraforming, which doesn't do anything because Ancient Fairy Dragon pops a Gear Town. They don't have any slots left in play to summon the Gear Dragon. So yeah, take the Kuraz. Main phase 1, they elect not to attack. They're relying on their Ancient Fairy Dragon sticking around, and I find Mind Crush, which is just honestly a fucking amazing draw for a million reasons because A, they have 2 of the same card in their hand, and B, I can either call whatever they search with terraforming, or I can call the gear frame, depending on what's going to be worse for me in any situation. I do elect to set the Mind Crush, because I'm like, they're eventually going to go for a push. They're eventually going to find a tribute monster. And when they do, I'm going to want to have the Mind Crush ready for their follow-up push. So yeah, I do set the Mind Crush here, and I do pass. I don't want to give them any space to normal summon gear frame. They redraw the Kuraz, despite shuffling it away, which is just, it's just bad news for me. Here they summon the Kuraz, they pop 2 tokens, and I'm just like, fuck. That sucks. But it did take their normal summon. Okay, so it did take their normal summon. They do get to draw 2 new cards. The Kuraz can't attack this turn, so I'm actually under 0 pressure this turn, unless they want to switch the Ancient Fairy. And if they switch the Ancient Fairy, they're risking it getting run over by a million different things. So they don't want to do that. I don't need to bottomless the Kuraz, because I don't need to kill this card specifically. I do want to save the bottomless, because now they do have the space, terraforming for Gear Town, pop it with Ancient Fairy Dragon, not search another field spell, special summon out Ancient Gear Dragon, and I need to save the bottomless for that because that card is very difficult for my deck to deal with. So, they terraforming. I let this whole thing resolve because I have the bottomless for Ancient Gear Dragon. I also, at this point, you can kind of see how this game's going to shape up. You can kind of see how this game's going to shape up. You already know what's going to happen. You already know what's going to happen. A little bit. You think you know. You think you know. But you know what? It's even crazier than you think. All right. So, Ancient Fairy Dragon pops the Gear Town. Ancient Gear Dragon happens. And then you get the idea. I bottomless it. We go from here. No attacks. Pass the turn. And my draw is Book of Moon, which is actually a solid draw. It's actually a solid draw here. So, I'm going to summon the Drago. This is going to prevent any future light or dark shenanigans. I'm going to attack over the token. Try to get that out of here so they have as little tribute fodder as possible. And I am going to Mind Crush Machina Gear Frame in their draw phase. So I waited as long as possible to use this Mind Crush. And it's very important to have patience with this card. At the very last possible moment you want to use it. Because that way you have the most opportunity at hitting the card you want to name. I am going to set the Book of Moon to protect my Drago from this Kuraz attacking. I am fairly confident they're not going to switch the Ancient Fairy Dragon because they can't risk Mirror Force. They can't risk me running over the Ancient Fairy Dragon with a Red Eyes or whatever. So, yeah, basically that's what's happening. End phase, I reveal the Wyvern. The reason I reveal the Wyvern is I don't want them to know about the Yamada Dragon. And I also am most likely to summon Red Eyes Wyvern. So let's say on their turn they go switch the Ancient Fairy Dragon to attack mode. They attack with the Kuraz. I obviously have to choose if I want to book it or not. And then they attack with the Ancient Fairy Dragon. My Drago gets killed. Next turn, if I top deck Red Eyes, that's the way I'm winning the game. So I'm going to have to normal summon the Wyvern. So it's the card they're going to know about the soonest. And it's the card I'm the most comfortable showing them that I have. Here, on their draw phase, I Mind Crush. I name Machina Gear Frame. And they had drawn the third, which is just very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. It's very rare you see Mind Crush hit, and then on top of that, it's very rare you see it hit for the full house, hit all 3 of the same name, and that's just disgusting. Because Murray discarded 3 of the same name, he no longer needs to reveal his hand, so I don't know about the cards that he's since drawn. Alright, again, Murray can't afford to switch the Ancient Fairy Dragon and attack, so he's going to attack with the Kuraz, and I'm going to book the Kuraz. It's at this point that my turn 1 set Heavy Storm is going to really, truly shine. Really, truly shine. Murray sets Trap Dust Shoot, sets Royal Oppression, and this Heavy Storm not being in my hand and actually being in play is so important because I draw up to 3 cards here, not 4 cards, and this Trap Dust Shoot is still dead, which is very, very important. And then, of course, I flip the Heavy Storm, get my nice little 2-for-1, clear the back rows, and then I elect not to summon the Wyvern. The reason I don't want to summon the Wyvern quite yet is I want to bluff to my opponent that I maybe don't have another dragon in my hand. And I also want to, like, bluff that, well, let's just say this, right? Worst case scenario for me is they have another monster to summon. And in the case that they do switch the Ancient Fairy and summon another monster, let's say an Ancient Gear Dragon, that's like the worst case scenario. They'll run over my Wyvern and my Drago, and I'm top decking with the Yamato Dragon. Whereas if they don't do that, I do have access to Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and I can maybe put something together that way still. So I like not to summon it. There's no real reason to summon it here. The only way you'd summon it is if you expect their Ancient Fairy Dragon to not switch to attack mode, you expect them to have no follow-up, and then you expect your Yamato Dragon to get tribute summoned, and then even then it still get waltzed out by the defense position Ancient Fairy Dragon. So no reason to summon Wyvern here, basically. End phase, reveal the Wyvern again, set the bottomless, of course, and pass. They do pick up Terraforming, so this is kind of like worst case scenario. So even though I have resolved Trap Dash Shoot, I have resolved Mind Crush for 3, I have resolved Heavy Storm for 2, they've had such a good time finding that advantage with the Kuraz on the tokens for the draw 2, with the Gear Town shenanigans, with this Ancient Fairy Dragon just walling me out, that they actually have a shot at winning this game straight up. I need to get lucky and top deck something in order to even break this position. So they go for Debris, bring back the Dandelion, and here I'm thinking, okay, worst case scenario, they have another Gear Town or a Terraforming, but 2 of them are already gone, so they only have, only 2 of them are gone, but they still only have 4 copies of that, and they have 28 cards in their deck, so it's a 1 in 7 chance that they have the additional follow-up after this, and I'm like, do I bottomless this Black Rose? Black Rose is the only thing they can make. They can't make another Ancient Fairy because it's light. Drago locks it out. Okay, they make the Black Rose. They elect not to use the effect of the Black Rose. They special summon the tokens, and I do bottomless it. And here I get low-key pretty punished. Pretty punished for this. And they do get to Terraforming for a Gear Town. So despite Mind Crushing for 3, despite Heavy Storming for 2, Pro Heavy Storming for 2, I'm actually just in a terrible fucking losing position this game. And I got nothing. I just got nothing. I fucking top deck. They Ancient Fairy, pop the Gear Town, gain another 1,000. They're at 10,000 life points. It's going to be a fucking slog if I even attempt to win this game. They get Ancient Gear Dragon, not a light or a dark. Unfortunately, can come out under Drago. And they just run over my Drago. Still having the discipline not to switch the Ancient Fairy Dragon. And I do really like this discipline from Murray because Ancient Fairy Dragon in defense is so hard for the Dragon deck to beat. It is very, very hard for the Dragon deck to beat. Of course, this is a post-board game. I do have Smashing Grounds in my deck. I do have a few ways to out it. Secret hidden tech ways to out it. But, of course, I do need to find those outs in order to get where I need to be, basically. All right. Tax over the Drago. I lose the Drago. Sucks, but you know what? And I draw Giant Trunade. Again, no reason to set the Wyvern here. If they top deck another monster and they kill me, all right. But if I set the Wyvern, then it cuts off all of my potential top decks from like Red Eyes Darkness Metal to all these other things. It cuts off all of those top decks from being actually good. So I need to actually save the Wyvern in hand. I set the Giant Trunade because I want to bluff some sort of like, don't attack with Ancient Fairy Dragon. I could have Mirror Force kind of thing. Of course, I can't Mirror Force the Ancient Gear Gajiltron Dragon. I can, though, if they do attack with a different monster. So I've got to bluff some sort of defense just to be like, maybe don't pressure me as much as I want, like, as much as you could. And it works. It straight up works. They just attack with the Ancient Gear Dragon, and they top deck Sangan, which is a great draw for them. They're able to set the Sangan and pass, and then my top deck is insane. It's Brain Control. So I miss for one turn, but I do end up hitting one of my, like, several outs to this situation. I say that like copium. I had so many outs, I swear. But this is pretty much just the best possible out. I Brain Control the Ancient Fairy. But wait, actually there's something really important. Here, I wait for a very long time. I actually shuffle my hand. I'm playing it in real time. I wait for a very long time. And I think, because I don't want my opponent to know that I'm tribute setting this Yamato Dragon. This whole game, I've concealed the information of having this Yamato Dragon in my hand. Since turn 1. I've had it since the start of my hand. I've concealed this card being in my deck. Murray's a strong player. He knows about Yamato Dragon. But this wait here might have tripped him up. It might have tripped him up. I Brain Control the Ancient Fairy Dragon, of course. An Ancient Fairy Dragon has a second effect, or I should say a first effect, because it's the first effect, where it says once per turn, you can normal summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. Or not normal summon, special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. This is going to allow me to get 2 tribute monsters into play, and also, not 2 tribute monsters, 2 tribute fodder into play, and also get rid of the Ancient Fairy Dragon, which is a problem. And I did wait here. I did wait here for a long time. I wanted Murray to think that maybe I was tribute setting like a Light and Darkness Dragon or something more defensive, something I couldn't attack, maybe like a Red Eyes Darkness Metal or whatever. So yeah, I special this, and I tribute set Yamada Dragon. And now, despite this game going in a crazy direction, where I have Pro Heavy Storm for 2, I have Mind Crush for 3, he's resolved a Kuraz for draw 2, straight up Pot of Greed shit, I'm like in a position where Murray could make one small error, and all of a sudden, I'm dominating this game, and he does. He attacks into the Yamada Dragon. And I like to think that weight mattered. I know it probably didn't, but I like to think that little mind game with the weight mattered. He takes 100 damage, and I draw 5 cards. So, craziest game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So far. I've Mind Crushed for 3. I have Pro Heavy Storm for 2. He's Kurazed for 2. He's resolved multiple Ancient Gear, Ancient Fairy combos. And I've resolved a Yamada Dragon for draw 5. And you can see I've found myself a Smashing Ground, which is going to be so big here. Unfortunately, the Yamada Dragon does go back to my hand in the end phase here. He said I thought it had 3,000 defense. Yeah, no. No, it's dummy thick. This is actually one of the hardest cards to get over in the format. Not much is 3,100 or stronger, or 3,200 or stronger, I should say. Yeah. So it goes back to my hand. I find Drago. The hand is actually a little bit awkward, and I right now have the read that the set monster is Peacekeeper, which is a stupid read because they would have equipped it to the Ancient Gear Dragon if they had it. And all 3 gear frames are gone, and I fucking forget about that. I think I don't want to get aggressive here because I don't want to run over a Peacekeeper, give them a chance to crash Peacekeeper and like get whatever. I'm kind of low in life. I don't want to like, I don't know. I play a little passively here when I really shouldn't have. I really, really shouldn't have. I should have summoned the Drago and just started attacking shit. But I just set Totem. I'm trying to set up for like a bigger turn. They draw Bottomless. That card does nothing against me. Well, it kind of does something against me, but I've got a lot of ways to deal with that as of right now. I've got Trune, I've got Prime Material, I've got this Dust Tornado now, so I'm not too worried. Here I do summon the Drago into Bottomless, but I'm like, whatever. I have another one in my grave. And when they Bottomless it, I'm like, okay, maybe now I realize they had Peacekeeper. I should have summoned the Drago last turn. If they had Peacekeeper now, it doesn't really matter because they have gear frames. I want to get a Drago into play because if they find Debris Dragon, their Black Rose is gone and they have no other things they can make with their only Debris target, which is, as of right now, Dandelion. So they can't make another Ancient Fairy because it's light. Mentioned it earlier. But yeah, I'm going to call the Drago. I'm going to run over both tokens. And again, I don't attack another set monster because I'm just like, yo, what if it's fucking whatever? But yeah, I should have just attacked it instead of leaving it in play. Whatevs. End phase reveal the Yamada Dragon because they know about that card. So now it's right to reveal the Yamada Dragon. Murray, top decks Terraforming, flip summon Sangan. And this flip summon Sangan is actually kind of annoying. Because it attacks over the totem, and I can't Yamada them next turn, basically. So I'm like, oh, that's annoying. They attack over the totem, grab Gear Town, set Gear Town, and then pass. What did I do on this turn? I think I just summon Masked and attack with both. Yeah, I'm like, I could sack my Drago for whatever, for Prime Material, and then Trunade back my call. But I don't want to have to do that quite yet, when I could just put the Masked in play and threaten a Yamada Dragon next turn. Which is kind of like what I was thinking. I think this is the better play. There's a few reasons for maybe getting the Prime Material down, but I think this is the best play. They get to search the Debris Dragon, but again, that doesn't really do anything. It does wall out my monsters, but I can always tribute it for Prime Material and then be in a spot to just whatever. Finally starting to make a dent in these 10,000 life points Murray's accumulated. This game is so crazy. Holy shit. And phase reveal the Yamada again. So now Murray makes a critical error. He activates the Gear Town, which I can chain Dust Tornado to. And because Dust Tornado is chain link 2, it destroys the Gear Town and makes the Gear Town miss timing. This is a critical error. Critical error from Murray. Because I think if he just didn't do that and he just set the zombie world, I think he would have won. Right? No, he wouldn't have won. But he would have been in a much better position, basically. Because he could attack over the Drago and then main phase 2 Debris Dragon, make Ancient Fairy, and then I'm just like, fuck, basically, yeah. Yeah, that's what would have happened. Anyway, critical error. So after all of that, after I Mind Crush for 3, after I Pro Storm for 2, after I fucking resolve a Yamada Dragon to draw 5 cards, the maximum amount of cards, I still almost lost. Which is why I think this is like one of the craziest fucking games of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've ever played. But yeah, I do end up going for the safe play here. Tribute summoning Prime Material. This is a 2-turn clock. Yes, I could summon Yamada and attack, but I risk Gores, and not finding Red Med would mean I lose to Gores on the spot. So, can't really afford to do that. Gotta do this, gotta play around Gores. And yeah, maybe there's no chance he has Gores in his deck, but there's always a chance, you know? There's always a chance. Always better to make the safer play, and that's what I end up doing here. All right, draw for Murray is Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, but that's not gonna be enough. Gonna attack with the Drago, Wind Blast the Drago, and here again, I'm gonna play around Gores. I don't attack with the Prime Material. I don't need to. Next turn I draw the Drago again, and it's lethal. I can just set the Burst Breath. Well, first things first, I Trinade back my Call of the Haunted, because I just want to have access to that next turn as like a tribute fodder for my Burst Breath, basically. And then, yeah, summons the Debris Dragon, and I Royal Oppression it, and that's the game. Nice. Craziest game ever. So now, I've come back to my team. I'm third in line in an Ironman, and my opponent's team is third in line, and their third in line is Martha Stewart, powerful duelist. I played them recently on the channel. They were showcasing a hero deck the last time I played, and I'm thinking, I don't remember what they played at this point. And when I don't remember what someone plays, I usually bring fairies. So I decided to bring fairies for the third match. I'm going up against Martha Stewart. I pick in rock, paper, scissors correctly, and I do get to go first. Whew, that last game is a doozy. I mean, like, thinking about it, even in hindsight, I'm like, damn, navigating that was crazy. There was so many opportunities where I could have messed up and lost, and there were so many opportunities where Murray could have made like a slightly different play and won. It's just crazy to think about like all of that stuff in the context and playing your opponent in those contexts as well. Okay, first things first, fairy opening. You always got to talk about the opening of the fairy deck. Draw for turn is Herald of Orange Light. So my hand is actually gas. It's like cash money. It's fucking sick. I've got Dialk, I've got a live Herald, I've got DD Warrior Lady, which is going to make my Dialk live immediately. I've got Solemn and Oppression, which are both goated cards. And I'm like, you know what? I can't lose. I'm just going to set DD Warrior Lady, get this Alchemist live as early as possible, set my Royal Oppression, and I don't know if I set Solemn here. I don't, actually. I just set the Royal Oppression. My thought process here is like, the way that they kill the DD Warrior Lady is like Evil Guy Caius, or they have to special summon to really get an effective mounting against the DD Warrior Lady. And if they don't special summon, then I'm cool with that. I don't really want to be forced to Solemn Judgment this early. If they have Raikou, I don't really want to be forced to Herald it if it targets down the Solemn Judgment. So I'm just like, I'll save the Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment is better later in the game anyway. I don't want to be forced to play it on a Heavy Storm, basically. I'd much rather just take the 1-for-1 trade, Royal Oppression for Heavy Storm, any day of the week. They are, in fact, playing their Bushi hero deck, and their opening is equally great. They've got 2 really high-impact trap cards. They've got Miracle Fusion, E-Call for Stratos, and Gemini Spark, which is fantastic in this matchup. So, the E-Call for Stratos, grab the boy grabs the other boy, you get the idea. Alright, Stratos attacks, banish both monsters, and you can kind of see, now I'm thinking, okay, they searched Alias. They're either playing Hero Frog or they're playing Hero Beat. And it's starting to come back to me. I'm like, okay, I think the last time we played, they were playing Hero Beat. So, against Hero Beat, I like to play the game where I just banish all their monsters. They only have like 5 or 6 monsters, so banishing all of them, it's actually pretty easy to do. I could have heralded the Stratos. I could have. But I wanted to save it because I think Shining Angel actually is pretty solid here. Guarantees me another DD Warrior Lady. I don't know. It's just a strong card. They set their back row, and then they pass. I need to get the Solemn Judgment down now ASAP because Skill Drain really fucks up with my plan of like, what is it? Banish all their monsters. Skill Drain really fucks with that. And I need to have an answer for that down immediately. I'm going to set the Shining Angel and set the Solemn Judgment and pass here, I believe. Yep, that's exactly what I do. I don't want to normal summon the Alchemist and then swing into a Deep Prison. That's not an effective use of my Alchemist. I feel like I can get a better use out of it, where it at least trades 1-for-1 with a monster. Again, keep in mind, my game plan is to banish all their monsters. I want this Alchemist to trade with a monster. I don't want it to trade with the Deep Prison if possible. I can trade other cards with the Deep Prison, but I don't want to trade this Alchemist with the Deep Prison because this is a guaranteed banish on a monster. It's just a little bit slow. So, opponent summons Alias, they attack the monster. I'm like, cool. Let me get my second DD Warrior Lady from my deck. And now they set their Gemini Spark. They have Solidarity, which is another powerful card, actually. They have a really solid hand here, actually. No pun intended. I top deck Book of Moon. Very strong. And I'm thinking, I could attack. I could try to banish this. But if they have Skill Drain, plus Dark Bribe, which is kind of my thought process, I get fucked. So I think I'm going to attack and then try to book their monster and keep my DD Warrior Lady in play. So I think that's what I do. Oh, they deprison. They deprison. And here comes the deprison. And now that I have the book, I'm cool swinging in deprison because I just want to I want to trade my books for their deprisons, and then I want to trade my DD Warrior Ladies for their monsters. If I trade the book for the monster, then, I mean, it's fine, right? It's fine because I still have the DD Warrior Lady sticking around. But if they remove my DD Warrior Lady and I'm forced to book a monster later on, it's not ideal. You get it? You get where this is going. You get where this is going. I swing. I'm like, you probably have Mirror Force Deprison. That's what I was playing around last turn. Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. And then here I also set the Alchemist. I want to threaten a couple different things. I want to threaten Raiko. I want to threaten Shining Angel, Nova Summoner, those things. But actually, if this dies, if this gets sparked, which I would be very happy if it gets sparked, I do get to get back my DD Warrior Lady. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Armageddonite gets summoned. This puts a warrior in grave for their Solidarity. Unfortunately for them, it can't send a water, so these two Miracle Fusions are looking kind of sad. No cap. Sends the Immortal Bushi. This card's very strong. Does create a recursive threat. Very annoying recursive threat. The Armageddonite trades with the DD Warrior Lady, banishes both, and then the Alias attacks the Dialk, and this is kind of exactly what I wanted. I wanted the Alchemist to get destroyed and grab me a DD Warrior Lady, which could then banish one of their monsters. So that's my whole plan here. Keep their monsters banished, keep their Miracle Fusions dead, and I top deck Heavy Storm, which is just very lucky. It's just very, very lucky. I'm going to Heavy Storm here. No, wait. I don't think I Heavy Storm yet. I actually think I just set DD Warrior Lady and pass. Yeah, the reason I do this is because I'm not going to attack them with the DD Warrior Lady and then just have Brain Herald left over. They get to bring back Bushi. They still have 2 cards in hand. I kind of want to just clear their monster first and then Heavy Storm when I have something worth resolving. Yeah. This is actually a really smart play. In hindsight, I'm thinking, oh, I should have Heavy Storm, but no, it's actually really smart to wait here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, wait on the Heavy Storm until you have something worth resolving. That's my plan. I have Heavy Storm, I have Oppression for the Starlight, and then I have Solemn for the Dark Bribe. I have everything covered, so this Heavy Storm is going to resolve at some point. But I don't need to resolve it right now. I can resolve it when I have something else worth sticking. Okay, the E-Call, they grab an Ocean, and this Ocean's going to be a fucking problem. No cap. This Ocean's going to be a fucking problem. Thankfully, all of their fucking heroes are banished. They didn't spark my monster. Their spark is dead. And now they're like, damn, maybe I should have sparked that. But hey, you live and you learn. Because I set Alchemist on the last turn, he's probably thinking, maybe it's a set Alchemist. I can't afford to spark that. Can't afford to give him back another DD Warrior Lady. That kind of thing. And now you mix them up. That's how you mix them up. You play this information game. It's a solid information game. And here I pick up Dimensional Alchemist. This is a really good draw. This is a really, really good draw. I think I said it again. I think I straight up said it again. Yeah, again, I said it. I'm just like, I just want this to trade for their monsters. I just want to banish their monsters. There's no real reason to summon it, swing into a deprison. When I have Heavy Storm, that's going to clear the deprison inevitably. Their Bushi's going to come back. It's going to run over the Alchemist either way. So I might as well just keep my life total high. Let this Bushi come back. Let it do its thing. Summons Armageddonite. That's fine. Sends another Bushi. That's totally fine. Attacks over the Dialk. All good. I get back DD Warrior Lady. All good. You know, DD Warrior Lady does a good job banishing these monsters. And then I do take a bit of damage here, which sucks, but whatever. You know, I was already at 8,000 because I was playing so defensively the whole game. And my game plan is getting initiated pretty solidly. Hero Blasts are dead because they don't have an Alias in the grave. Ah, shit. Miracle Fusions are currently dead because they don't have a hero or a water in their graveyard. And I'm big chillin'. The Gemini Sparks are also dead because they don't have an Alias. So, my draw for turn is Christia, and now I'm like, oh shit. I have 3 fairies in my grave. I have a Herald Brain in my hand. Now I have something worth resolving. I'm going to Heavy Storm. So now a Heavy Storm. And this is why you wait on the Heavy Storm. Heavy Storm is good to force through your plays when it's guaranteed. I activate Heavy Storm. Opponent has no stops. And then I'm able to set up the Bryonic Christia lethal setup. And that's just going to close this game out. Not much this deck can do about that. And yeah, gonna grab that, run over both monsters, and that should just be that. I think we move to game 2. Yep. GG's indeed. GG's indeed. Okay, game 2. Game 2, I play poorly. I'm gonna straight up say it. I should have won game 2, but I play it not in a bad way, but just in a way where I don't stick to my guns like I should have. In the first game, I had a clear game plan. I stuck to my game plan. I was like, Heavy Storm is important when I have something worth resolving. Clear the monsters, keep the pressure off. Eventually, Christia will win the game. That was my clear-cut game plan. Game 2, the game plan changes. Game 2, the game plan becomes more keep Skill Drain and Light Imprisoning Mirror off the field. And I didn't stick to that game plan. I also misboarded. I normally side out Christias in this matchup. At least one, if not two. Because they have Royal Oppression and they have the field spell, which lets them very easily attack over Archlord Christia. They also have Honest. They also have Gemini Sparks. It's like not a very good card in this matchup, mostly because of the Royal Oppressions, but because the other stuff they can just ignore it so easily. And setting up for it's not ideal. You'd rather play the grind game. You'd rather just keep the Light Mirror off, banish all their monsters, win with like a Soul of Purity and Light or a Thunder King, hopefully get there that way, and then have like 1 or 2 Christias for the late game. But yeah, I forgot to side out the Christias. I do side in the Dust Tornadoes correctly so, but I play them poorly in this game. I'm just going to click fast forward. They Stratos, they search the Alias. My opening hand's a little awkward because I have Soul of Purity and Light, and then, of course, I dead draw a Christia because I didn't fucking side them out. Yeah, I generally like siding out the Christias when I side in all the Dust Tornadoes because that's the overlap, basically. Yeah, I use the Book of Moon to run over the Stratos because I know they have Alias, and I have no way of dealing with the Alias. If I banish the Stratos, it's like, fuck, I'm fucking screwed. If I banish the Alias, at least it kills their Hero Blasts and their Gemini Sparks and whatnot. So they summon Alias, and they actually just pass straight up, which means it's like, fuck, they definitely have something to answer this DD Warrior Lady attacking. I can't afford to attack here. I could have M-Phase Dusted. I could have held the Dusts. I could have done a million different things. I didn't need to play the Dusts yet. I really didn't. I really didn't need to play him. I got Typhoon for no reason. Typhoon trading for my Dust is really bad for me. Dust Tornado is like very high impact in this matchup. You need them to answer Skill Drains and Light Imprisoning, and I just didn't play it right. I pick up another Book of Moon. Yeah, really awkward. Really awkward. I mean, Book of Moon it's not bad in this matchup. It's just not good in this matchup or in this position where I have a bunch of dead cards. I don't have my, what are the guys called? Recruiters. I don't have those cards. So here I just swing. I don't swing. I just switch to DD Warrior Lady. I'm too scared of Deprison. I don't want to play in Deprison, basically. I could have swung there, but like, if they don't Deprison it, then like, I trade the DD Warrior Lady, and then all of a sudden this Ocean comes down, or whatever, any hero comes down, and I just fucking lose. So, I have an awkward draw where I have some of my special summon monsters, I have no setup card, and yeah, I'm just gonna fall behind this game. I'm gonna fast forward through it because it gets rough. It gets rough. I do stay in it for a really long time because I found Bottomless for the Ocean, but yeah, no, this game is rough. They found the Skill Drain, and I only have 1 out to it, and it's just like, it's just brutal. It's just brutal. Cyber Dragon comes down, DD Warrior Lady banishes it, but at this point, it's too little too late. I have 5 cards to their 6, and their 6 cards are all like good cards, and my 5 cards, 2 of them don't do anything. This Kaiku is like the most awkward draw here in the fucking world because if it does connect, it's insane, but there's no way in hell it's connecting, A, and B, if it does die to like a Mirror Force or whatever, like I still can't special summon Soul of Purity and Light because it's a light, and the Ocean's going to take over this game. Yep, pretty much. Brings back Stratos. They could do a million different things here. I make one final misplay, I think, later in this game where I set a return. And I'm like, all right. Maybe he doesn't know he can bounce the Stratos and play with the Ocean. Maybe he doesn't know it. If he doesn't know it, this return can steal me the game. That's what I'm thinking. But he does know it, so, I mean, it's just like, you can't really expect your opponents to be bad, especially in these Ironmans. Martha Stewart's a very strong player. Definitely know what they're doing. Stratos comes down, pops a return. Yep. Tacks into Honest. Honest only stalls for a little bit, but it's only a matter of time. DD Crow, again,
Terrible draw when your hand is this. This is actually how the fairy deck loses. It loses when you dead draw Christia. That's when it loses. I do find Thunder King, but it's just too much. It's just too much. They have like a million cards. I can never beat this. I try to bounce it. They have Skill Drain, and my Dust Tornado's long gone. And the Skill Drain's going to just close things out. Yeah, in a very long and arduous fashion, but it is gonna inevitably kill me. Oh, man. Such a tough game. Of course, dead drawing multiple Christias. Really awkward. Grab Dialk, some hope of surviving. Heavy Storm clears the skill drain, but at this point it's just like... Can't do anything. Can't do anything. They have another skill drain. They have Skyscraper that I know about because I think they used Captain Gold. Didn't they? Yeah, they did, yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just dead to everything. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you misplay. Sometimes you mess up the sideboarding. All that matters is that you bounce back in game 3. That's all that matters. You know? That's all that matters, really. And we'll see if I make it. We'll see if I make it. I'm already 2-0 in this Ironman. Can I make it a third game? Can I make it a third game? What's going on? This is actually really slow. Holy shit. Oh, it must have been some sort of like lag or something. Fast forward, maybe? Jeez. Can I just go next game? Oh, let's just go next game. Okay, yeah. Next game, yeah. That was a brutal game. I ended up losing it, though. It's tough. It's tough to show the losses. It's tough to show them. Never lost. Hashtag never lost. So, fucking... Dude, honestly, like, shit's rough. Like, I don't know. It's hard not to tilt. It's hard not to tilt. All right. I get to go first. I'm looking at my hand, and I'm like, this is just a fucking great hand. I have Thunder King. Their deck plays like 80 search cards. I am big chillin'. They summon Alias. I think they're forced to. Their hand's actually not too bad. Only 2 cards are shut off by Thunder King. But I'll fucking take it. They summon Alias. They set it bottomless. And their hand's actually kind of soft. It's kind of soft to removal. And I pick up the Kaiku. The Kaiku who kind of cursed me in game 2. Actually looking fucking incredible in game 3. So yeah, I set the Raikou. I pass. I'm like, either they have Skill Drain, which I'm cool with, because then Thunder King can still, I don't know, trade with the Alias. Or they have some sort of whatever, but they spark, then they're forced to trade their Alias on board, and then Thunder King still commands. And if they attack, I can still... There's a million things I can do here, basically. They summon Stratos. They use the effect to pop. I actually elect to book the Stratos. The reason I do this is because if they have Gemini Spark, I don't want them to still be able to attack this turn. So, I book the Stratos, chain it, and... Now that I'm thinking about it, they actually had to destroy their own back row. Huh, I missed that. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I actually missed that. They had to destroy their own back row there. Oh, I completely missed that. Wow. That would have been pretty big. No cap. All right, whatever. It's not a big deal. They trade the Alias. They save the Honest, which is an interesting sort of heads-up play. It's because they drew this Hero Blast, but unfortunately for them, we have the DD Crow. So, summon Shining Angel. I do play into the Hero Blast. I'm like, you know what? They probably have Hero Blast because they traded the Alias so aggressively that turn when the previous turn they didn't want to do it, and they set a new back row, so I'm like, whatever. I got the Crow. Let's fuck it up. Attack the set Stratos, and then, of course, DD Crow the Hero Blast. The reason I don't summon Kaiku here is because I want the Kaiku to come down when it's going to connect. I don't want it to come down and then just get run over by an Alias and then trade basically 1-for-1 with the Stratos. Whereas the Shining Angel, if it comes down, I can attack over the Stratos, and then Alias coming down the next turn doesn't actually threaten me at all. So, yeah. That's the reason I attack with the Angel there and not the Kaiku. Even though it does give him an opportunity to Miracle Fusion, if they have like Summon Ocean plus Miracle Fusion, I'm totally fine with that. Shining Angel and Raikou both also answer Absolute Zero, so not too worried. All right, they e-call for a second copy of Alias, and I'm like, all right, shit, run it, dog. Oh, shit, my mouse batteries are dying. Hopefully it doesn't ruin this recording. Come back on. All right, they attack the Raikou, and I like to pop the Alias. I'm like, you know what? This Kaiku's going to hit. I've got a Dust Tornado. This Kaiku's going to hit, and I'm going to banish both their heroes, and they're going to be in a really awkward spot for the rest of this game. They play Soul Release, which, you know, all right, banish my graveyard, all the stuff I've been setting up with my mills, but it's not even that great. Like, imagine I have Return. I sided out Return, of course, but imagine I had Return. It would have been insane. I would have just OTK'd. So yeah, I mean, that's just that. That's just that. All right, top deck is Book of Moon. I'm up 5 cards to 3. How do I fuck this game up? I play into a sweeper. That's how I fuck it up. So I'm going to dust the back row, and then I'm going to attack with both Kaiku and Shining Angel because I have the book to back up the Kaiku now. Kaiku's going to banish both monsters. Stratos and Neos Alias are going to go. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. They top deck E-Call. They're able to find their last copy of Alias, but unfortunately for them, I have Book of Moon, which does respond to it quite nicely. Quite nicely. And their hand, Honest Ocean, completely unplayable at this point in the game. I top deck my own Honest, which is just fantastic. I attack directly with the Honest. I believe I summon the Honest. Yeah, I do, yeah. I attack directly with the Honest and the Kaiku. Want to put them on the 2-turn clock. You know how it is. Kaiku's going to banish the third and last copy of Alias. And my game plan, again, enacted. I stuck to my guns this game. I boarded out the Christias. I made sure and had a cohesive strategy that didn't randomly lose to like just having bricked hands, and it worked out. It worked out, paid off. They even misboarded by boarding in the Soul Release, which is a card that you bring in only against Christia. And now that the Christias aren't in my deck, it's like that card doesn't really do anything against me. You know, I'm like super cool with that happening. High activity opening hand, and then a slightly less activity opening hand where you have a Hero Blast that gets crowed, you have Soul Release, you have a Bottomless Trap Hole, which doesn't trade with any of the meaningful threats, which is Shining Angel, Honest, you know, Raiko, that sort of thing. Thunder King was in play already, so you can't bottomless it on the draw. And yeah, I mean, that's just that. I go up 3-0 in this Ironman. I attack into this Honest, which is actually going to eat a D-Prison. I'm surprised they D-Prison there, but I guess it makes sense. They need to get top deck miracles online. They do find a miracle here. Interesting. But at this point, it doesn't even matter because I've banished all the heroes. So they only have the Ocean as both water and hero. Here, I switch the Shining Angel. I do attack into their Honest. I use my own Honest to get over it because I don't want to take damage, A. And B, I just want to get that Honest out of here. I don't want my opponent to have access to anything where they're like Diva into Synchro into, you know, come back somehow miraculously. So clear the Honest, get rid of that shit. They top deck another Honest. They set it here, but at this point, I also top deck DD Warrior Lady. I probably would have just like sacked the Angel for a Cyber Dragon and special to Soul and gone for game that way. But I mean, either way, I probably should have just done it that way, all things considered. But yeah, it's gonna be a quick little whatevers. You know what it is. Quick little 2-1. Game 2, I stuck to my game plan. I focused again after losing game 3, I should say. I stuck to my game plan after refocusing. They set the Ocean, they set their 2 cards, and that's going to be top deck Herald into Bionic for game. So I go Herald, I pitch 2 for Bionic. Even if they stop the Bionic, I can special Cyber Dragon, attack over the Ocean for 600. Or I can special Soul and attack over it for whatever. But you get the idea. You get the idea. All right. And round 4. Round 4 was the hardest one. Round 4 was the hardest one yet. Round 4 was against a duelist whose name I won't even mention. And the reason I won't even mention their name is because they didn't show up. They were scared. They saw me 3-0 their teammates, and they were like, fuck that. I'm out. Fuck that. And so I was able to clutch this Ironman again for my Team Randage, Team A, whatever the fuck it was, on the FL Discord. You can play these Ironmans. Make sure and join there. Make sure and become a part of the action. You know, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. These games were actually insane crazy. I really like these highly competitive matches. If you guys like the highly competitive stuff, if you guys like seeing more Ironmans, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the Discord DMs, whatever. I check all your guys' messages. Let me know on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at E3yugioh. You know the vibe. Anyway, peace out, everyone.